going on, guys? I'm gonna go over for survivalist fitness. I'm gonna go over the first beginning thing that I teach everybody, and that is how to stand. Because obviously posture is super important. And I get a lot of questions as I've been teaching martial arts for the last 20 years. There's been a lot of questions, people asking, hey, what's the difference between an MMA stance and a boxing stance, a kickboxing stance? So I would get this question, it would frustrate me to, I don't know what, but it'd be a very frustrating question because there is no particular MMA stance. There's no really even a boxing stance because the truth of the matter is you're gonna stand depending on what your style is and who you're fighting is. So if I'm standing in a particular posture and it's conducive to get kicked in the legs and I'm fighting a guy that's a kicker, then obviously I have to stand to where I can be ready to check and block his kicks, yeah? Now, if I'm not fighting a kicker and maybe he's running and I'm trying to take him down, then I don't have to worry about getting kicked in the legs because then the threat for being kicked is not that big, so I can stand in a different way. So that's kind of that. So the stance changes depending on who you fight. Even if you look at like Floyd Mayweather, when he fought Ricky Hatton, he stood differently than when he fought, De La Hoya or Shane Mosley. So your style and your stances are going to change depending on who you're fighting and what the threats are. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get to my first portion of survivalism is fitness on the survival tactics, and that is our basic stance. This stance again from Bruce Lee is called the Fasc Bent Knee Stance. Okay, so basically we're going to put both of our feet about shoulder width apart. We'll take one step directly backwards. Then we're going to bend our knees. We'll put 65% of the weight on the back leg, 35% of the weight on the front leg. Put the elbows in, tuck the chin, shrug the shoulders. Because this is us a really tight stance. Okay, so we're gonna work on movement. So now we got this stance here. I'll go ahead and pivot so you can see me here on the side. Legs bent, that back heel never touches the ground. So if I'm moving back a little bit, my back heel never touches the ground. Bending my knees here, back heel never touches the ground. So then I'll pivot again. So we're gonna go over basic movement. A method of movement. So we're gonna go over the front movement first. So typically when we're moving, we want to be still while we're moving and moving while we're still. So if I move my front foot one step, I'll move my back foot one step. Okay, and typically we're gonna move whichever direction, we'll move that foot first. So if I'm moving forward, I'll move my front foot first. So I'll push off the back leg and I'll step with the front leg. Like I'm still moving, I'll do it again. All right, I'll pivot, let it be seen from the other side. So push off the back leg, boom. Push off the back leg, boom. Turn around, I'll do it again. Now, that is the basic front, how you move forward. Moving the other direction is pretty much identical. So if I'm gonna move backwards now I'm moving backwards. Move the back leg, boom. I'll pivot, I'll move backwards again. Back again. Pivot in again, I'll move backwards again. So very simple. Moving forward, move front foot first, move back, and move the back foot first. So you push off the opposite leg. So when I'm moving backwards, I'm gonna push off the front leg. All right, again, I want my feet to remain at the same distance. Now, another thing that I noticed that people do is a lot of people, within their stances, we have people standing in almost like a lion. Where your stance is in a bladed stance here. Well, this may help you when it comes to you using your jab in the blade stance because you can get the most of your reach, but you're subtapped with the leg kicks, and if I put it this way, your right hand is pretty much out of the fight because you're in the bladed stance. So we box our stance up. You see my hands will come out, they'll be the same distance. So I'll box my stance up. I don't want to be in this bladed stance. I want to make sure my stance, I'm boxed up. So that's basically, my feet make like a triangle here. So that with that heel never touching the ground, you can pivot and rotate. All right, so boom. So now we're gonna go ahead and finish it off and do lateral movement. So lateral movement, if I'm going left first, I move the left foot. Then I move the other foot. Still while you're moving. And the other side. One more time again. That is footwork. So you gotta obviously know how to move, you gotta know how to walk. If you move, you're tripping all over your feet, you're gonna get kicked and taken down, you're not gonna be able to get yourself out of harm's way. So being able to have the proper stance is very, very important. What's wrong?